Hey, and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. As you can see, I had to record someplace different for a change. Where I typically record, the kids done ran me out of my space, and I had to get the darn thing done. So fingers crossed you can't hear them screaming and yelling and playing video games through the wall. Child. Anywho, we're here for another one of my watch lists. As you know, my watch list consists of TV, streaming, and film, old, new, and in between. Some I've watched before, and some I'm currently watching. I will give you my mostly spoiler-free breakdown of 2 or more shows with some additional recommendations. I just want to say welcome to any newcomers. I hope you'll subscribe, share with a friend, and return for future content. To my subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. I appreciate you. Today, we are here to talk bad doctors. That's right, you heard me, bad doctors. And first up is Dr. Death. On Peacock, this drama series was released in 2021. It's 8 episodes, about 45 minutes each, except for the last episode that's a little over an hour. Based on a hit podcast and inspired by the tarrying true story of Dr. Christopher Dunch, a young and charismatic star in the Texas medical community. After building a flourishing neurosurgery practice, everything suddenly changes when patients entering Dr. Dunch's operating room for complex but routine spinal surgery begin leaving permanently disabled or dead. As his victims pile up, 2 fellow physicians and Dallas prosecutor Michelle Shugart set out to stop him. This one was a wild ride, y'all. Dr. Dunch was an ambitious man with a big ego. Now, you know you have to be careful of those with that gift of gab. And the series takes us through the rise and the fall of Dr. Dunch. Christopher was an MD and PhD, and most say he was an excellent PhD, and perhaps he should have stopped there. I don't know whether it was the money that got to him, but sir definitely shouldn't have been operating on people. When you're watching, make sure you pay attention to those dates. Sir, he was a pathological liar and good for that blame game. Just simply out of control. So much for do no harm, and kudos to those that tried to stop him. Oh, and sir's personal life, that was a mess too. The rest of my notes were like hack job, butcher, just bad. I think you guys will enjoy this series that will have you looking for a second recommendation. Lord knows your girl had lots of questions. It stars Joshua Jackson as Dr. Dunch, Christian Slater, Alec Baldwin, Kelsey Grammer, and Carrie J. Preston plays Dunch's lawyers. You may know her from Claws. Prior to this, Peacock also had a documentary by the same name if you're looking for more. 4 episodes at about 45 minutes each, you are getting interviews and facts. And also, as mentioned in the summary, you can head on over to your favorite podcast platform for more on Dr. Christopher Dunch. Next up is Our Father on Netflix. This true crime documentary was released in May and is about 1 hour and 37 minutes long. And it's brought to us by Blumhouse Productions, known for horror. And this documentary was truly horrific. Family shattered, trust betrayed, and a family tree that won't stop growing. How one woman's search for siblings turned into a nightmare. And that was our very brief Netflix summary. So it all starts with one girl, Jacoba. All her life, she feels like she looks different than the rest of her family. When she gets older, her mother lets her know that she was conceived using a sperm donor. And for years, nothing. Then she gets a 23andMe. And I can't remember whether she purchased it or it was a gift from her husband, but she goes looking for, some siblings. Sperm donors are only supposed to be used 3 times. Jacoba finds 7 to 8 siblings, and the story takes off from there. Dr. Klein was a premier fertility doctor in Indiana with a high success rate. We later find out that Klein used his own sperm to aid in fertilization. Klein, a highly religious guy, father, and husband, was one sick person. And if you haven't guessed by now, Klein's patients had no idea what was going on. That's right, no knowledge and therefore no consent. Jacoba is the one that puts all the pieces together and reaches out to the siblings. In the documentary, we get her story as well as the story of a few of her siblings. I don't want to give too much away. Eventually, Klein admits to what he's done. Well, sort of. And we find out, Donald Klein, you are the father. Yikes. These poor women felt violated and their kids lost. Like, what a huge violation. And Doc Klein was a real jerk if you ask me. We get one mouth open moment and one full on jaw drop moment, but you'll have to watch to find out. If you like documentaries, definitely give this one a watch. Child, I'm glad I conceived the old-fashioned way, and that's no shade to those who can't. My only point is that is scary and it happens more than you think. Again, for this one, head on over to your favorite podcast platform and search Dr. Klein. Also, I think Jacoba did a podcast that's very similar to the documentary a few years prior, and I can't for the life of me remember which one it was. If I remember, I'll put it in the description box, but if not. But before there was Dr. Klein, there was my last selection, Baby God, on HBOMAX. This documentary was released in 2020 and has a runtime of about an hour and 18 minutes. Once hailed as a miracle worker, Dr. Quincy Fortier's secret is now out. Formerly a renowned Nevada fertility specialist, he has become best known by deceiving countless women struggling to conceive by using his own sperm, without their knowledge or consent, to impregnate them. This film is a stunning expose of the egregious, once undetectable truths about Fortier's practice. And that was our HBOMAX summary. Sound familiar? So like I said, before there was Dr. Klein, there was Dr. Fortier doing the same thing in Nevada. And the stories are very similar. I know he got sued at some point. I can't remember where that falls in the timeline. Crazy part is, it's not a crime. Fortier, he won awards and the whole 9. And like Dr. Klein, he never thought he'd be caught. Enter 23andMe, Ancestry, etc. And just like in Our Father, this is how the siblings found each other and ultimately their father. Fortier did this for over 30 years, and if my numbers are wrong, I will correct them on the screen. Unlike Dr. Klein, he retired at age 93 and passed away at 94. Dr. Klein is still walking these streets, y'all, and Fortier's kids can't even hold him accountable. I know I'm saying a lot, but trust me, there's more, especially in Fortier's life. Just a mess all around. Again, scary as hell, but if you like documentaries, I definitely recommend you check this one out too. See, I'm not big on going to the doctor to begin with, and every time I start to entertain one of those ancestry DNA tests, all I can hear is my sister-in-law saying, Henrietta Lacks. Oh, and we will get into Miss Henrietta Lacks in another watch list. And if you are looking for more, check out my classic Wildcard pick, The Silence of the Lambs. You can catch it now on Showtime. That was one crazy movie, y'all. And if you're looking for more bad doctors, check out False positive. Lucy and Adrian find their dream fertility doctor in the illustrious Dr. Hindle. But after becoming pregnant, Lucy notices something sinister behind Hindle's charm and sets out to discover the unsettling truth about him. This horror thriller, and part comedy if you ask me, is about an hour and a half in runtime. It features Pierce Brosnan, and you can find it now on Hulu. Do you guys like shows based on bad doctors? Netflix has one coming out, and I'm not quite sure of the date, but it's about a bad doctor in New Jersey, and I can't wait. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you've seen these and what you thought. And you can also let me know about my recommendations, or just let me know that you stopped by. In the meantime, if you are looking for more, please feel free to check out some of my other watch lists or content. Keep your notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.